Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, while we are all homebound, it is important to maximize our time in the kitchen and also have lots of healthy options too on hand for the whole family.
That's right. So today, holistic nutritionist joins us with her tips and expert tips for easy options that are good for our bodies. Maria Viall joins us from home via FaceTime with suggestions. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. I think so many people are home, they're making food, they really are getting a little stale on doing it. So for you, it's really about having quick options that are easy to do.
Yeah, because I think we can either what sounded like a good idea at first, we're either sick of, or we're just kind of repeating the same meals over and over, or maybe we're just got to the point where boxed macaroni and frozen pizza just we're realizing isn't going to cut it for who knows how long. So I think just having things on hand and, not getting overwhelmed by what that looks like and what some of the best, easiest practices are that you can implement for you and the entire family.
I think you have great ideas, Maria, and you'll be happy to know I have a bowl of fruit on my counter now because of you. I have some trail mix, one with nuts, one without, because my son's allergic to them.
There you
and
go.
I also have the hummus and guac. So I think you have great ideas. Let's talk about blender bags.
Yeah, so this is a great way to maximize produce. I think especially if we're doing these big grocery runs, we're getting a lot of stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but by the end of the week, it's some of the cucumbers and celery are looking a bit sad. And so a really great way to use this is to make these little blender bags. So you just take a little Ziploc bag or even a little container and put in your fruit and veggies that are, they don't have to be looking too shabby, but that you need to use up. And this is a great activity to get your kids involved too. So they can pick whatever they want to put into their smoothie. And you can make a week's worth of these, right? You can put these and just keep them in your bag. And in the morning or afternoon or whenever you want to make them, pop them in your blender, add some water or maybe some unsweetened dairy alternative or whatever liquid you want. Throw in some spinach or greens, mix it up, and now you've got a really great, healthy, nutritious meal or snack that is also using up the food that you've already spent money on.
I love that idea. I think another thing that people always see, so when I've been going to the grocery store, a lot of things are not available, but one thing that always seems to be there is sweet potatoes and regular potatoes.
Yeah.
And so you got a great suggestion for sweet potatoes or winter squash or things like that.
Yeah, so making a big batch of them, and I understand the first process of it might be a bit of a pain. If you have kids at home, task them to kind of do the peeling. And just roast a big batch of them, right? And you can make those into sweet potato fries, or you can use them the next morning to scramble with eggs and make a hash. You can add them into your salads, just throw it on top, add them to stir fries. You can even then make them into a soup or a stew, throw them in the crock pot, all of those gadgets you have in your home that you haven't had time to use. Just having something like sweet potato, winter squash, even regular potatoes, having those things on hand so that they add a little bit of, they add some nutrition and they're dense, but they also they have a pretty good shelf life in the fridge after you roast them. So they can last you, 3-4 days and combine them with other meals.
I love that. I know your next suggestion is about spinach and kale. My oldest daughter's home from college, and she just made something the other day with fresh kale, but it had pesto in it and just kind of a mishmash of chickpeas and other things. But there's a lot you can do to flavor spinach and kale if you're not a fan of just eating it raw or plain.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. You said this, pesto, you can throw those greens into something like a pesto, and the basil and the garlic and all of those flavors really mask that taste to them. One of my biggest tips is if you're going to the store and you're getting one of those bins or you're buying fresh spinach or kale, buy an extra one and put it in your freezer. Have it in a bag or keep it in those big clamshells, keep it in the freezer so you can throw it into things like a smoothie. You can toss it into soups or salads or stews. You can easily just transport that into whatever it is that you're making to kind of hide and also to add some greenery, because again, in most cases, your bin is either going to last you a week just from consumption or just from, aging in the fridge. But if you keep it in the freezer, it can last for a really long time and it doesn't stick together. It doesn't clump together. So this is like a really great way that you can kind of add these into different aspects of what you're cooking. And just like if you're making a pot of soup, just throw a handful of that stuff in, saute it up, throw it into your stir fries. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, a huge handful will break down quite small. So it's a really easy way to incorporate those greens again into your diet.
Yeah, and they're sneaky. You don't always taste them that way. Another thing that you suggest is having cut up veggies. It's just easy to go with hummus, because I always feel like if it's cut up and it looks good to just grab and eat, you do that. And then you also suggest not reinventing the wheel when it comes to the meats you're making, and have planned nights for extra meat.
Yeah, so if you're going to be roasting chicken, or you're picking up a rotisserie chicken, or maybe you're grilling out, make some extras. And so that night, maybe you're having, grilled chicken with some sides. And then the next night, maybe you chop that up and you have like a stir fry night. And then the next night, maybe you use that same chicken and now you're having like a taco night. And then, that final night, if you have any leftover, you can then kind of do that, create that leftover, invent your own bowl idea. So don't reinvent the wheel by every day being like, okay, what meat or what am I going to be cooking tonight? Like, make a bigger batch so that you at least have it even into the next day lunch, so that you can have, and flavor it up. Theme nights, maybe it's Italian night, maybe it's Mexican, maybe it's, Asian cuisine. You can use some of those items that have the ability to be flavored into other meals, so that you're not, again, doing the same thing over and over, and you're not spending that much time making that food every single day.
Mix it up, make it easy, and save some money. Thanks for joining us, Maria.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Maria.
All right, we love it. And stay tuned for our picture of the day. You can rewatch this on our website, themorningblend.com.